So let's summarize what we have seen about subcontracting. We have seen what is subcontracting. Subcontracting is a process of getting goods manufactured. From whom? From a subcontractor or a vendor. You provide the raw materials, he supplies the finished goods. That's essentially what subcontracting is. To make it simple, I've given the case of a wedding cake. Right? We operate a coffee shop. We don't know how to make wedding cakes. Or we are not in the business of making wedding cakes, but we do get some orders. What do? We supply the goods to a subcontractor, somebody who specializes in wedding cakes. He takes the raw materials, makes the beautiful wedding cake, ships it back to us. That's it. That is a subcontracting order. How do you make this happen? In SAP, the item category is L. L for subcontracting. The moment you put L, it says, oops, I need the components. Okay. At the line item level, put the components in. This is a manual way of putting components. If you know that this wedding cake is going to contain flour, sugar, blah, 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 you could create it as a BOM. Go to CS01, create a BOM, and SAP would not ask you to put the components. It will very well go pull it from the BOM. Either way, you enter the components and you don't issue the goods. Physically, it's an issue, but you do a transfer posting with reference to the purchase order. That's the easiest way to do. You don't need to do it with reference because it's all transfer posting anyway. It's all your goods just staying with the vendor, right? And then step number 5 is when the vendor is ready with your cake, he ships it back. So you go to MyGo and receive the goods, right? Assuming all the raw materials are consumed. Now, if you need adjustments, meaning the vendor must have overconsumed or the vendor has underconsumed goods, in which case he wants to send the raw materials back, either way, you can do this is goods receipt, and you can also do MyGo subsequent adjustment, whereby any deficiencies in stock that the vendor has faced can be adjusted. The vendor says, I have consumed more than you have shipped me. All right, we can send more to you. Or if the vendor says, oh, you know what? You've given me 100 kilos and I just used 50 kilos. So here is your 50 kilos back. Sure, we'll take it back. Now, again, in the context of wedding cakes, it's very trivial. But to take a more valid example, we have talked about milling a turbine for GE. GE sends that special material to the miller, somebody with this special lathe. He'll do the lathe through the entire day and then do what? He'll ship us back the finished product. And that raw material that's left out or scrap that is left out after the milling operation can also be sent back. That's called as a byproduct. Either way, the key difference I want to highlight is subcontracting is different from the standard purchase order. The standard purchase order is when you're just buying the goods. You don't care how the customer makes it. The raw materials is his problem. In a subcontracting, you give the raw materials, the vendor will create the finished product, send it back to you along with any subsequent adjustments of either overconsumption or underconsumption of the raw materials. That is subcontracting.